This is the heart of the matter with Melinda. Yes, this is pulse check day. It's Thursday, and I come to you again with another pulse check. Listen, today we're going to be talking about how to resolve conflicts in a healthy way. We want to talk about healthy resolutions, conflict resolutions. I chose this subject because this is an area of my life that is actually under siege. I actually need to be strengthened in this area of my life. So I chose to open up my life with you, and probably you may need this type of strength in your life as well. And I want to start off with a declaration. I had to declare this. This is something that's relatively not easy for me because I have to work hard to do this. So this declaration, it says, I will listen to understand instead of listening to respond. A lot of time I listen to respond and not listen to understand. And that's an area of my life that I'm working on. And it will tie into healthy resolutions when we go down through there. And Proverbs 16:20 says, whoever gives heed to instruction prospers, and blessed is the one who trusts in the Lord. When talking to others, listen. Do you listen and wholeheartedly focus on what the other person is saying? Do you find yourself interrupting them or rushing them to get to the end of their story? Oh my God. Can I get an amen? These are signs that you may be listening to respond instead of listening to truly understand, what the person is saying. The next time that you or me are having a conversation with someone, I want us to be intentional. I challenge you, as I challenge myself, to focus on what they are saying, not to be worried about what you're going to say in response. We're going to concentrate on what they are saying to understand them. We're going to be making the shift in our communication. And when we make the shift in our communication, that will make for a more effective conversation, as well as it will enhance the connection between whoever you're speaking with. So that's a declaration. I'm going to declare this. I'm going to declare it today. What about you? This is my declaration for today, and it's going to tie in with the healthy resolution. We're talking about conflict resolution today. Conflict resolution is a way for two or more parties or people to find a peaceful solution to a disagreement among themselves. And sometimes it may not be somewhat of a disagreement. It may not even be a disagreement. It may be some type of family issue that needs to be resolved, or some things that came to bring havoc or bring confusion in the family. It needs a healthy resolution if the family is to be healthy, right? If we don't want to live, as I call it, a dysfunctional family. So conflict resolution, once again, is a way for two or more parties or people to find a peaceful solution to a disagreement among themselves, or to bring help to an unhealthy situation, whether it's in the family. The disagreement may be a personal disagreement. It may be personal between you and another person. It can be a financial, if you're in business with someone, something happened and there's a resolution that needs to be done financially. It can either be political. There's a whole lot of disagreements going on political with the Republican, the Democrat, with the independents, just a whole lot of stuff that's going on politically right now that needs resolutions. And it also can be emotional. Emotional and personal kind of tie together, but then they also separate because you may be going through some emotional trauma that needs to be resolved in your life? How do you resolve trauma emotionally when you've been traumatized with emotional defects or emotional things that happen in your past? You went through trauma maybe with your parents, or you went through trauma like with your husband, or went through trauma with your children, or vice versa. Children went through trauma with their parents. Trauma, emotional. You need resolutions when it comes to trauma and those things that come to wreak havoc in our emotions. How do we resolve those trauma situations in our life emotionally? Personal things. When I say personal things, it's personal and dear to our heart that needs resolution. Sometimes you're not open to talk about them and be transparent about them, but you still need a resolution to this personal problem that you are having. Sometimes our personal problems are embarrassing problems, right? You're not so open to discuss it, but there needs to be a resolution, especially when it is concerning more than just yourself. When you're connected to families, families are connected to communities. Communities are connected to churches. Churches go worldwide. Churches are connected to other churches, and it goes on and on and on, right? Nationally, internationally, we are connected to people, so we have to resolve it first within ourselves so we can resolve it with one another. Then we can go out and resolve those situations in the world, right? We have to start within ourselves first. When a dispute arises, often the best course of action is to negotiate to resolve the disagreement. Let's talk about negotiate for a moment. Sometimes you have what we call non-negotiables. Some people have non-negotiables in their lives. Some people, if you do this, it's just no coming back from it. How do you resolve non-negotiables? What do? You have to forgive. You have to resolve it. Even if you decide not to pursue a personal relationship with that person, you still have to resolve the issue in a healthy way for yourself. For yourself. And we're going to talk about it. What can we discuss that we're able to agree to disagree? Sometimes that happens in a peaceful way. What are the things we are willing, what are we willing to accept, right? Let's talk about some things. So I did a little research because this is dear to my heart, because I'm talking to myself as well, because I have situations in my life right now that has to be resolved. And I'm going to go over some things, and I want you to tell me which one you are, and I'm going to identify myself in the one that I'm actually living in right now. There are five conflict resolutions that people walk in daily. Some people are number one, like myself, avoiding. Ask yourself, avoiding the situation, is this healthy? Acting as if the problem is just going to work itself out without you working and doing the work and both coming together doing the work to resolve it. Avoiding. Just flat out avoiding. That's one of a conflict resolution that some people use. Some people defeat it and overcome it and find ways to work to resolve it. That's one. Some people choose to compromise. They compromise their own peace for the sake of others. Is that a healthy way to resolve the issue? Think about it. Some people are accommodating. They accommodated. They actually accommodate to resolve it. Is that healthy? And then some people get together and they collaborate. What can we do? They get together and bounce things off of one another to try to bring about a resolution. They collaborate one to another and throw ideas and things that we can do to resolve the issue. Those are five conflict resolution. Where do you find yourself? Are you one like myself to avoid it? Are you the one to defeat and overcome it? Do you compromise your own peace and your self-worth? Are you accommodating? Do you invite it in and make ways to make it happen, to accommodate? Or do you collaborate, bring ideas, bring ways to resolve it? Think about that. I want you to chew on that until we see each other again. Plus, check. Here are some tips, and I'm going to give you some scriptures, and we're going to end this session for today. Tips to manage. We do have to accept that it will be complex. It's a part of our life. In every part of our life and in every relationship, we're going to experience conflict. We have to accept there will be conflicts. We have to also tip to manage conflicts. We have to be what I call a calming agent, a peaceful agent. Let me give you a perfect example of what I mean. The type of job that I do, I deal with sick people, family medical leave, and short-term disability. They call in. Sometimes it's physical, sometimes it's behavioral health. They have all type of mental health and physical health issues going on in their lives, and they're going through some severe cases sometimes. And when they're going through severe cases sometimes, they tend to give you their frustration. It's not personal. They're frustrated. They're frustrated because most of the time it's because they're on short-term disability. They have to go through a process to get a portion of pay from their short-term disability. And also the family medical leave is their absence. So in their mind, they're wondering, when I get through this sickness, will I still have a job? What's going to happen with my job? So they're frustrated. They're going through a whole lot of conflicts within themselves. So they kind of give you their frustration, right? And if you're the type of person to take it personal, you will give them their frustrations right back, right? But when I say you have to be a common agent, and I had to learn patience, I allowed patience to have her perfect work within me. Having this type of job, I've learned patience. That's why I've gotten a lot of kudos and spotlights on my job because once I'm done with the caller, they ask, well, can I speak with your manager? Because you really, really, really calm me down. You have to be a calming agent. On the outside, I'm a common agent and I have to be patient. My words have to be seasoned with salt. I have to be understanding of their situation. On the inside, sometimes I'd be like, "Ooh, Jesus." It's hard to keep your composure when they blowing your hair back, right? When sometimes they cussing you out, right? Sometimes they saying all types of stuff to you, right? But it's not personal, so you let it bounce off of you because you don't know these people, and you have to understand these people are going through a hard and a tough time. You have to be understanding of their situation, and you have to be that calming agent. So by the end of my call, they were thanking me and saying that you calmed me down. I de-escalated a situation that could have went the other way. And instead of causing more problems, at the end of the day, I get a spotlight, or at the end of the day, I get a kudos and a shout out because I was able to take good care of my customer and be a calming agent. Sometimes you have to be a calming agent to manage conflict. This is where I gave the declaration earlier. You have to listen actively, not listening to respond, but listening to give understanding. That is a way to manage conflict. Sometimes we have to model neutral language. We have to have our language. I have to learn that, and I'm learning that our language have to be seasoned with salt, and we can't show judgment in our language, and our language cannot go towards being offensive and on the defense with others. So we have to model neutral language that would invite the other person to open up and want to resolve. Man, these are some tips that we have to do. It's going to take some hard work to do it. I'm willing to do the work. Are you willing to do the work? And also, we have to analyze the conflict. We have to analyze it. Sometimes we got to break it down from A to Z. We have to break it down. We have to analyze what we're up against. We have to analyze what's the root cause of it. We have to analyze where did it come from. We have to analyze where do we want it to go. What is the end goal of this? We have to analyze, what do each of us want out of this. We have to analyze the conflict. Every conflict is different. Every resolution is different. The end goal is different for every resolution, because you have conflicts in families go deeper. Woo. But when you're talking about political, talking about financial, money is a sticky situation. So you got to analyze the conflict before you come up with a resolution. And also, we have to separate the person from the problem. Let me say that again. I need to say that for me so I can hear this. We have to separate the person from the problem. You heard me? We have to look at the person as a person and don't see the person as the problem. Because a lot of times we put the problem in the person. They are one. They are one. And we can't forgive the person because of the problem. But we have to learn to forgive the person and attack the problem. We're talking about resolving and resolution. That's what we're talking about today, okay? Separate the person from the problem. Number 7, we got to work together to work it out. Say it again. We have to work together to work it out. It won't work itself out. It takes both parties that are willing to resolve the issue at hand. And sometimes, number 8, last but not least, sometimes we have to agree to disagree. And we need to agree to disagree, and we need to do it in love. As I end this healthy resolution segment with the push check, I want to leave with you Hebrews 12 in the New Living Translation, Hebrews 12 and 14 again in the NIV. It says that we have to work at living in peace with everyone. That's the New Living. The NIV says make every effort to live in peace with everyone. Romans 12 and 18, New Living Translation says, do all that you can to live in peace with everyone. All I'm saying today is we have to work hard to live peaceably with all men. We have to find ways to work out our conflicts. We have to manage them and work them out in a healthy way. It takes two, as they say, to tango, whether it's good or bad. This is my push check. My question today to you is, how is your heart? How is your heart? Are you willing to work hard to resolve your conflicts? I'm talking to me. Am I willing to work hard to resolve my conflicts? Am I willing to listen to understand and not listen to respond? Am I? Am I willing to manage my conflicts in a healthy way? I have the tips. I know what conflict resolution is. I know what negotiation is now. So I got to work hard at it. And I'll come back later. I have part 2 or second edition of my book. My heart told my mind, but my body refused to move. I decided to stay. I have a second book coming. Didn't plan on it. And it's called, I decided to stay. Where do we go from here? You'll understand it better by and by. But we're in the midst of finding ways to resolve our conflicts within our family in a healthy way, because we have an end goal. We have to analyze our conflict and figure out what is the solution and what are we trying to do with the family-wise. The family structure depends on us being able to resolve and manage it in a healthy way. So you all have a blessed Thursday. This is your girl with Matters of the Heart with Melinda. Yes, I'm your number one encourager and your number one motivator. I am. I'm the vision pusher that'll help you tell your truth and stand in it. I will find what works best for you. Yes, I am the vision pusher. I'm saying to you and to me today, check your pulse. Resolve your conflicts. Manage your conflicts and do it in a healthy way. All I'm saying to you today, let's go, you all. Be blessed today. Take care. Bye-bye.